Hi and welcome to 2013. This is my first boxing prediction for 2013. Having done all these interviews, I've sort of forgotten about doing boxing predictions. So I thought, well, today is as good as any to do a boxing prediction. And the fight I'm picking to talk about is Froch versus Mikkel Kessler 2. First and foremost, I have to say that the first fight was a fantastic fight. It was an absolute war. Two proud guys up there. Froch was unbeaten at the time. Mikkel Kessler had lost to Andre Ward quite badly, and people wondering if it was still the same Mikkel Kessler that would have been fighting Froch. Well, he proved those doubters wrong, and it was a great fight. Regardless of who won, it was a great fight. I do want to say this point about Froch though. Froch, throughout his career, has come up short twice, one against Kessler and the other time against Andre Ward. But these are elite fighters. These are the best of the best in his era, in his division, at his weight. And, you know, both guys, I mean, Andre Ward is an outstanding fighter, considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And, you know, Carl gave Ward a good fight, you know, a very good fight, even though Ward was technically better. And the Kessler fight was nip and tuck, to be honest. I didn't think Kessler won by unanimous point decision, but I gave Kessler the nod in the fight. I thought he was more accurate with his punches. Now, here comes the rematch. So I am a fan of Froch, but being a fan doesn't and shouldn't really cloud my mind when it comes to making the decision about this fight. And all credit to Froch. I think he's going to go out there and he's going to do really well again. You know, he's on a high now. He's come back. People didn't expect him to be Boutte. He knocked Boutte out. Then he's had a defense against Mac, which is, you know, a voluntary defense. So, and Froch has been on the go for a while, just constantly going from the Super 6, you know, straight through to the Boutte fight, you know, so, and then the Mac fight. So Froch is a credit, and anybody who says that Froch can't fight doesn't know what they're talking about. Froch is a good fighter, and, you know, he hasn't got obliterated at world level. You know, Andre Ward is one of the best. He's one of the best of the best. So, okay, moving on to the prediction for this fight. I went back and watched the first fight again with Kessler and Froch, and then it was a fresh face, as I said, Froch unbeaten. And excuses aside, Froch stood in there and he traded with Kessler, and I said it was blow for blow. But there were some things I noticed in that fight that, you know, once from the beginning of the fight, you know, Froch was very good at throwing the right hand from distance, pot shotting from a distance. He's very good when you give Froch space and time, and able for him to throw the full length of his punches. If you give Froch arm's length, he's dangerous with those right hands and those uppercuts. Absolutely dangerous with the right hand if you give him that space. However, when Kessler was able to back Froch up, and Froch backed up much more in the fight than Kessler did, Froch, when he was against the ropes, you know, either try to parry punches or hold on to Kessler. But as it was discovered in the Andre Ward fight, Froch struggles when fighters actually on his toes or up on his chest and trying and working the body. He does struggle because Froch's game is very, as he says himself, from the outside, keeping the fight on the outside, using his strengths, which is punching and pot shotting. Froch has never been the greatest defensive fighter, and his chin is always out there to be hit. On the other side, you've got Mikkel Kessler now, who at times can be very plodding, methodical, and can come forward in straight lines and can get picked off. In the fight, both guys, I believe, got cut at the first fight. So, can the fight be any different or any better second fight? Well, I've always had this feeling about this second fight Froch has been calling out, yeah, I want Kessler, I want Kessler, I want Kessler, and when I was over there, they robbed me and stuff. Well, look, the fight was closer than Froch probably gives Kessler credit for, and I had Kessler winning by about a round or 2 rounds possibly. And the thing is, with this second fight, I don't think there's anything more that Froch can do in terms of his style. His boxes the same for most of his fights. You know, as I said, he needs distance, space. He's never been a good inside fighter, and I think that this fight, in particular, with Kessler, I think he's going to capitalise and he's going to get inside of Froch. The strategy should be quite simple for Kessler. What Kessler needs to do is get on the inside, do not allow Froch to get space and time to land punches, to load up. The other thing is, when Froch starts swinging wildly, which he does, and he gets hurt, when Froch gets hurt or gets tagged with a very good shot, he's very quick to respond, but he doesn't care how he responds. He just comes back at you, leaving his chin in the air, swinging wild combinations. And even that means him going off balance. If you watch the fight, Kessler has a sneaky, short right hand, similar to the right hand that Manny Pacquiao got knocked out with by Juan Manuel Marquez, that Froch didn't see while he was swinging and got caught on the button clean. Froch didn't go down. He stood up, and we all know Froch's got a great chin. But here's the point. Froch has traded on his chin for so many years, to be fair. If he didn't have the rock solid chin that he had, you sort of wonder where his career would be. Yes, he's got a great fighting heart. He's not an extraordinary big puncher. He's a hurtful, spiteful puncher given. But elite level, there's very few people he knocks out. Don't mention Bute, because Bute had chin problems beforehand against the Andrade. And Bute really had never really been tested against an elite fighter, a fresh elite fighter. And we found that out when Froch went in there and did the business with him. So, people could say it's a bit of hindsight, but it is what it is. So, the second fight, for me, I think that Kessler, although I say it's going to be a war and you'll hear all the talk of a war, for me, I think Kessler's going to come into this fight looking to throw more combinations to Froch's body, to back Carl Froch up, and to get on the inside, get on Froch's chest and work in the body. That's what I see happening. And bringing that short right hand and short right hand in when Froch tries to attack and there to counter. That's how I see Kessler winning the fight, actually. For Froch has to stay off the ropes. Yes, as I said, keep the fight at a distance and don't allow Mikkel Kessler to get any bright ideas of getting inside. He's got to hit and hurt Kessler early and keep him on the outside. It would not be advisable for Carl Froch to try and take this fight into a brawl, because he may have done it the last time, but Mikkel Kessler, as far as I'm concerned, he seems to have improved on his punch power. Or if not improved, he seems to be more accurate with his punch power. And you just take, for example, the fight against Alan Green, that left hook that laid Alan Green out. Yes, it was a light heavyweight, but still, that was one ferocious left hook. And I noticed when I did a pre-fight prediction for the McGee fight with Kessler, I said that Kessler is a student of the game, and I think that Kessler would work the body of McGee. And what does he do? Goes out there and takes out McGee's body. And I actually think, a lot of people might think I'm crazy here, but I can actually see Kessler stopping Carl Froch. Yes, stopping Carl Froch in this fight. I think it's a very dangerous fight for Carl Froch. And don't think for 1 second, because you've seen Carl Froch go out there and blow out Bute and blow out Mac, that suddenly he's going to go and do the same thing with Kessler. Because if he tries to walk into Kessler the same way he walked into against Bute and the way he walked in against Mac, you will get knocked out by Kessler, because we're looking at somebody who is a world-class puncher. And the other thing that I think a lot of fight fans are not mentioning and not recognising, like I said, Carl Froch has been on the road. He's had the whole Super 6 tournament. After the Super 6 tournament, he went in and fought Bute. After Bute, he went and fought Mac, right? Since the first Kessler fight, or since the first time Froch fought Kessler. Do you know what Kessler's done? He's fought 3 times. He's fought 3 times, right? He's managed to win 2 versions of world titles. One at the WBC Silver Light Heavyweight Championship, and then he's fought back down in the WBA regular title, which I think is now going to be a regular, and then the one that Andre Ward's the super champion, whatever. But anyway, he's fought 3 times, and Budwala, I think he fought as well. Whom Arthur Abraham recently fought. But all 3 fights he's had since his comeback have been by KO. No distance fights, just KOs. So Kessler's come back and had short fights. Froch, on the other hand, has been in 5 fights. The last 2 I mentioned were by KO. But the other fights all went to points. Arthur Abraham, Glenn Johnson, Andre Ward, all top level fights, you know, and most you get, but they say that they get, sometimes the sparring, the hard sparring is much more than the fight itself. And my concern as well for Carl Froch is he's had no real time to rest. He's had no real time to rest, and he's always in the gym. He's a workaholic, and you know, he's dedicated, he's professional. But how much more can that body take? Is he really going to be able to go for 12 rounds with Kessler? I really don't think he can. And the other thing is, Froch is slowing down. Okay, and when you start to slow down, your reflexes start to go. And when your reflexes start to go, then the same punch that may not have knocked you out before could knock you out now. Now with Kessler, it's a different situation because Kessler does not rely so much on his reflexes for punches. Okay, his style is not based on speed, on reflexes. Whereas Froch, where he's got his hands down by his side a lot, and he pulls away from punches, and he hasn't got a shoulder roll or something like that. He's not very technical the way he gets his way out of punches. Where he could have done that 3-4 years ago, I think in this fight, if he gets into war, he could walk into something very nasty. If Froch is to win this fight, I think it could be through a points win, or he'll stop Mikkel Kessler on cuts. I don't see him knocking Mikkel Kessler out, because in all the punches he threw at Mikkel Kessler, and these clean shots he hit Mikkel Kessler with, yes, if you get hit with a punch, like where Froch hits you, he went back, but he went back. You could see the impact of the punch. Then he kept coming. But when Mikkel Kessler hit Froch a few times, Froch started backing up against the ropes. And for me, Mikkel Kessler seemed the harder puncher in that fight. But again, it's just my opinion, don't shoot me down for it. But these are thoughts. I think Mikkel Kessler wins this fight by knockout. Would it be a one-punch knockout like Manny Pacquiao? I'm not so sure. But that short right hand, look at it again. I can't remember what round it is in the fight. There's a short right hand he hits Froch with, and Froch is wide open. Froch has an exciting style, but he's defensively poor, although he's trying to work on it. When he gets in a fight, his punches, and you look at the first fight, his punches are winging from all sorts of angles. And you'll see when he's landing all these trying to land all these wild punches, you see Kessler very cute getting inside and landing body shots. So I'm looking for Kessler to win this fight around 9 or 10 by KO. I think it'll be another great fight. I think Kessler will be the one that may be criticised for not engaging. But for me, I'm looking for Kessler in this one. Well, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. And hey, the other thing is, catch me on Twitter. My Twitter name is Ingram Jones, which is INGRAMJONES. One more time, Ingram Jones, INGRAMJONES. I'm always on Twitter. Well, not always. When I can, I'm on Twitter, and I've got some great guys and girls on Twitter talking about boxing. So come in and join us sometime. Okay, this is me, Bayloric. I'm out.